There's going to be a lot of cuts in this, because sometimes I'll just not say stuff, and I don't want there to be, like, big pauses. I'm okay with little pauses, but big pauses is not what I want in this. I want it to be, not just a lot of filler, but me actually talking about the topics I want to talk about, Overwatch, at its core, is a game of resources. It's a game of, if you have more resources than the other team, you win. Obviously, there's a ton of things, and this is not the base, but it's most things. If you know how to expend your resources to the very last second, that is usually the best case scenario. But some things either limit, reduce, or completely get rid of these resources. Let's say you're a tank that wants to push in, right? And let's say you're playing Roadhog, right? So you're going around with your big gassy belly, and you're shooting, and you pop over the corner, and you see a little bitty diva right there. If you hook them and pull them, and they have to use their abilities, such as the booster to get out, and then her defense matrix to block any damage that's coming at her, this immediately makes her have less resources than you. Now, does this mean you're going to win every time? No, because there's more than you and this diva. There are the supports to help, help the diva, such as a Kiriko giving a Suzu so she gains invulnerability, so she doesn't have to use these resources. And this is a thing you see in a lot of beginners play, is that they don't know when to use their cooldowns for what, and it's like, for support has one of the biggest issues, and support, it's probably the most important to not overuse your cooldowns, because once a lot of them, they have very, very high cooldowns that are very, it's a tempo type thing where they have to wait to have these big boosts of healing, and if you're attacking them in these in-between times, that's normally when the wall will crumble. Speaking of walls, that's also how this game is kind of set up, is each team is kind of like an amoeba or a wall, and enveloping that amoeba or helping breaking down that wall is the objective. I mean, it's really cool. It's really cool. Now, something I want to talk about is meta-defining characters, and what meta really means. I mean, you can obviously just say the easy answer and just be, oh, it's the best characters that are in the game right now currently. But that's not true for everyone, isn't it? I mean, obviously, the beginner players are going to have different difficulties with characters compared to the OWCS and the pro players that know this game to every in and out. And that's the thing, is that it's hard to say what an exact meta is unless it is a very well known. Oh, wait, that's not even true though, because it's like, I was about to say there's this comp called GOATs that existed a lot, but that was really only in pro. And these metas, they only really you only really hear the pro ones be talked about, and you don't really hear about casual metas that exist, such as just Orisa Cass. I mean, Orisa Cass doesn't, it's not anything to most pro players, but to me and to a lot of the population of Overwatch, it is a big counter, especially for us. The pro players are always playing the characters that synergize the best with their team, and normally I'm playing with either myself or 2 to 3 other people, which really doesn't, you don't have a lot of say on the match. And I've noticed a lot too that I have either highest to second highest damage if I'm playing tank or DPS. which I've been really proud of myself for. And it allows me to feel less bad when I lose, to be like, hey, it's not my fault. I tried the best I can. I got 12,000 healing, or I think I got, I was playing Ashe today, and I got, 14,000 damage, and, 33 kills. And we still lost that. We lost that fight, because it's just, there's a lot more than stats, and people seem to forget that. I see that Overwatch is a very easy game to just blame anybody but yourself, and I've kind of fallen into that too, I'm not gonna lie. But I mean, it's how you cope. It's you don't want to think of yourself as bad, but sometimes you just do bad in games. It's either not your comp, or not your map, or even both. And that's when it's really sucks, is when you have a lot of those games in a row, and then it just kind of, you forget that you've had good games. And that's the thing, is you just gotta kind of remember that, and remember that this is not your peak game. This is not gonna be the best game you've ever played, and that's okay. I've been playing a lot more competitive than I used to. I used to just stay on quick play, but after them adding hero bans and adding drives to make you want to play competitive, and also just, I want some sweet junkrat weapon skins. I mean, I only have the gold for him, and it's there's still 2 others I need to get. I'm a little behind. I've been playing mostly junkrat. Obviously, I mean, he's my highest placed character. I'm obviously best junkrat in North Carolina, wear that badge proudly. But I've been also dabbling with some other characters. I only play Doom on certain maps just because I like Doom. I like playing Doom, but he's too hard for me to play in a place where I'm at a disadvantage, which is it could be an amazing, I could have an amazing comp, but because it's a bad map, and because they have a comp that is really counterable to me, it doesn't matter. The experience will still be tainted by that. And I don't like that. I mean, I'm just gonna play when, if as long as I play when there's a good map, then majority of the time doesn't really affect it. And also, I've noticed just in myself that my kind of thinking when I'm playing the game has gotten better. I also know I'm switching topics a lot. I'm sorry. I'm just talking. But it's I've been playing Reinhardt. That's a very challenging character. I picked him up after Doomfist, actually. And yeah, obviously I play Roadhog as tank still. I don't play support anymore just because I don't like it. I mean, it's just, most supports have very low health pools, and you're kind of being targeted with a low health pool, and it's not that fun for me. I'm just not a big fan of it. And also, it's the thing of, like I said, I play solo queue, and I play, or I'll play with a lot of less people, and when you play healer, you have a lot less sway on which way the match goes, and it's just, I've noticed that I perform better when playing damage roles. I've kind of leaned a lot more away from DPS just because I've played it a lot, and tank is just a cool role. It's the entire point of tank is to be a flashy, big AoE, crowd sweeping character, and some are way better than that than others in my kit. And also I've actually taken Overwatch a lot more seriously than I used to, which sounds crazy, but it's I've I've cared more about getting better because I've actually realized a lot more progress in my gameplay. So like I've been reducing my hero pool, which is supposed to help you get better at characters mechanically, which just makes sense. I mean, if you're playing less diverse like character groups, then you will play the characters that you know more, and kind of just as you play you'll harden your knowledge on it, if that makes sense. Like I've kind of put it as having 3 characters to play in each role, but I haven't really thought of what I have for support for and then I have like an extra one that I keep as like, just like I said, like Doom. I don't put that in my main lineup just because I play him occasionally, you know. My lineup for tank is Roadhog, Reinhardt, and D.Va. And then obviously Doomfist. But I know you might be saying, oh, why not Junker Queen? Why not Junker Queen? Well, Junker Queen's hard to play right now. Like, and I really like Junker Queen's character, and I love her kit, but I just have a lot more success for some reason playing Doom than her. I'm still not that bad with her, but I've kind of just grown away from her. And it's not even like really, I don't know why. I just preferred Doomfist. I picked up Doomfist a lot faster than I thought I would. I was, if you asked me maybe 6 or 7 months ago, what's a one character in Overwatch that you just cannot play, I would probably say Wrecking Ball Doomfist, and I still can't play Wrecking Ball, and I probably don't because I won't. I mean, I've told you that's all the tanks I really want to play, and Wrecking Ball is a tank. So, you know, for my DPS, this is kind of hard to think, but Junkrat's obviously number 1, baby. Ashe is probably up there just to give me some range when I want to switch. And also just I need other DPS to play because sometimes there's insta-lockers that are playing on PC so they can get to Junkrat way faster than I am, and they also don't want to give me the rat even though my name is RatLord9999. I'm sorry, but if I was playing like Reinhardt and their name was Reinhardt Lord 9999, I'm gonna give them Reinhardt. They were probably gonna be better at it than I am. It's just what I think. Did I say another? I don't really know what other DPS. I'd say maybe Venture. I do play a little bit of Venture, but I would counter it as my off hero like Doomfist, just because she's played very similarly. She's pretty much just like Junkrat, but tweaked with a little different things in terms of like how she plays and her projectile speed and stuff like that. But her like actual movement and how her gameplay is more attuned to like Doomfist, old Doomfist, like DPS Doomfist. Because she's really good at like picking out a person that she wants to kill and then displacing them. Kind of like Tracer. She goes in back lines and then distracts like supports while, you know, the tank can actually do stuff. But like I said, I would counter as my off. I would say Soldier Cass. I don't like to play it, but sometimes I just get tired, and that's my I'm tired. I used to have a rule where I was like, all right, if I ever see a reset in my game, I'm going Mauga, which does not work. I've realized that I have like a lot better of a chance if I just play the characters I know than a character that I thought was busted. Because here's the thing about metas. Oh, we're rapid back now. This is so crazy. But crazy thing about metas is they change, but people's thoughts on the metas don't immediately. So there's people that still think that Mauga is a brain dead, overpowered, and Sombra is one of the craziest DPS. She's just a little rat that just destroys your entire team from the inside. But really, these characters have been nerfed to the dirt because they actually listen to their community and they listen to stats. And after adding bans, 75% of the bans were Sombra. That is so crazy. That is more than half. That is more than that's crazy. That's crazy. And I believe it because still majority of my games there is Sombra trying to be banned. There is at least somebody on my team that is putting Sombra on there instead of Orisa or characters like that have. I'm gonna say it, there's still characters that are been crazy and are crazy. I'm not gonna fully defend Blizzard because there's a lot of things that they get wrong, especially how they handle marketing. That's one thing I want to get into that's just kind of scummy of them. And I understand, it's kind of, you see other video game studios do it, so you must too. Maybe for the live service, it's probably the best bet. And it's just free to play means that you're going to have those microtransactions. But it's just, I can't believe we were talking about how bad NFTs were, but now buying a $20 skin is seen as okay. I mean, I am a part of the issue. I am buying these skins, but it's these I wouldn't even be mad if they reduced the price to 10. I feel like $10 for a skin, or $10 for maybe $20 for a bundle of 2 skins, I think is a good idea. But come on. If you're trying to sell me, sometimes they're recolors. They're trying to sell recolors of skins that were originally free, but because they recolored it, they want to charge $20. That's crazy. That's not okay. It's also the fact that they see, these characters are the most popular in the fan base, whether it be gameplay or seriously sexual attraction. There's a reason why Kiriko, why Juno, why Mercy, why these people all get skins. It's because they have these gooner buyers. They will always buy a Mercy skin. There will always be these Mercy mains that have every single skin and have a pink pretty heart crosshair that will keep just swiping their debit card on anything that comes into that shop. I know because my brother's girlfriend is pretty much that. I don't know how. I don't know why. It's I remember I was absolutely gobsmacked when I saw that you could when they had Overwatch League, those skins were so expensive, and those were $14. I remember seeing it as a $14 skin. It's Mercy skin for $14 when you could get a loot box. But now I am so glad they added back loot boxes. I think that was a very good change for it, and it's they didn't even just do it for the skins that you could already get for the free coins. No, they have shop skins too. So even skins that you would have to pay real money for, you can get now. The only exceptions is that you can't get collaborative skins from them, and you can't get mythic skins from them, which I'm completely fine with. I understand why, and that makes sense. I mean, they did the collab for a reason, so both of the IPs can get money, so I understand it. And also, I love Overwatch collaborations. I've talked to you about this, but they're probably my favorite game to have it, where it's not like Fortnite, where they just oh, it's Rick and Morty, guys. We're gonna put them in their exact style. It's just Rick and Morty, and then there's Peter Griffin, but for some reason gonna make him buff, and then we're gonna add the chicken that's even bigger than Peter Griffin if he was fat. That's just, I'm so glad that's not where Overwatch took it. They actually make it so it's ingrained into the character. It works with the character. The only thing I can't say that to is the characters they pick. I was talking about how they pick certain characters. Kiriko has gotten it. I think Kiriko and Mercy each have had like 6 different crossover events that they've been in. Like they were in Kiriko was in the Avatar one as Suki. They were wasn't he? Oh yeah, they were in the they were the My Hero. For the My Hero one, she was Kiriko was Toga. I don't think. Yeah, no, Mercy wasn't on that one, but she was on, she's on this Persona one now. She was on the, I can't think of anyone. Jeez. Yeah, I can't think of, but I swear she's been in more crossover events than that one. I think she had a Street Fighter skin, but, Kiriko also had a Street Fighter skin. I'm telling you, Kiriko is a character that grinds my gears, and I thought, I had such good expectations for her because I love Kasunes. I think Kasunes is such a cool spiritual creature. They're probably one of my favorites at a time for being a fox spirit. I love foxes, right? So when they talked about adding them, I thought it was cool. Until they released her, and then everybody realized, oh, this is some new Overwatch developers, OC, that they're putting into Overwatch. There's one person on the team that has a tattoo of Kiriko. That's how much they glazed this character. They used to be that Tracer was, the poster child of Overwatch 1, and she got all the skins. She got a lot of skins, right? But not as much as this. I wish I could bring up the data right now, but it's so much. It's so much. She's gotten so much skins. She has more skins than majority of the characters who have been out years before her, which is it's just crazy. They really give her one, every collab, every single season they give her at least one and stuff like that. It's crazy. But why she's an OC is because, one, in the lore, she was supposed to grow up with the two brothers, Genji and Hanzo. Except that Genji and Hanzo in the game are canonically 40, and she's 21. And then there's so in her backstory, they're training together as kids. So that doesn't work. 2 is the thing of adding magic to Overwatch. Magic has never been it's always been sci-fi. Overwatch has been mostly sci-fi. I mean, there are some things like Zenyatta and the Iris that have been kind of borderline, especially Genji and Hanzo with the dragons. But you can at least, just say that that's hard light. There's a thing known as hard light made by Vishkar, and it's like holograms that you can touch and feel, and so that's what people say. But they talk about this fox spirit. She has these magical Suzus and these she's magical. She can teleport. She's magical. Right. It's not any type of science. It's magic. And that's the thing, is that having a magic and technology in the same universe adds issues, because what is stopping them from using the tech and the magic combined? What is stopping them from... What, like... It just... There's a lot of issues that I have with it. And then also not to mention her gameplay-wise. She has her Suzu, which gives this protecting thing that cleanses all negative debuffs. She recently got a perk that helps up, like, cooldowns. So it reduces cooldowns. Like I said, gets rid of any effects. So antis, burns, bleeds, all of these just are missed away. It has the similar thing to... It gives, like, an invincibility, like, thing for a split second. So if you throw it on somebody before they're being, like, charged into a wall, they'll survive. If you do it right at the time before a ult, you can survive. You can cancel, I think, like, 20 different ults in the game just by one cooldown. And it's like 12 seconds, which is not that a lot. That's as much as a sleep. So it's a long cooldown, but it's not nearly as long as it should be. Let's talk about not a long cooldown. Her 6-second swift step. This allows her to teleport to anybody in a 30-meter radius. And you might think that's like, oh, that's not bad. She can do it through walls. So let's just say you're me, right? You're playing as Rhino. Would you like to see my muscles? And then you charge somebody, and you are about to pin them into a wall. And you pin them, and they're about to die, and you're swinging. She can teleport when no other support could get to you. When no other support, because whatever person you were fighting did this to themselves. It doesn't matter. The Kiriko can just teleport in, Suzu, and then they can get out. Because it gives you everything. It's just... I'm not a big fan of having advanced and simple hero kits, especially when you have one move that does everything. And having these advanced kits does not mean a harder character. I'm fine if it's like Doomfist. Doomfist has a pretty advanced kit. It has 3 moves, which now it's a lot more common, but in Overwatch 1 that was not very common to have 3 abilities. And if you use either one of those abilities wrong and jump into the team, you might not be able to jump out. And that's the thing, is that you have to be constantly thinking about that. With having a Kiriko on your team just makes everything 10 times easier. She is constantly being played in higher ranks. I often see her with, if it's not her, then it's Ana or Lucio. Lucio's not that OP. He's just a main support, so that's the thing. Yeah, I really just... This recording might sound a little out of breath in the first couple of minutes because I just did some pull-ups. But, more Overwatch stuff. I'm older than all the Overwatch cast because they were born in the future. And it's before us. So, they're all like... either fetuses right now, or they're, like, not even a thought. Their parents probably are, like, teenagers right now. That's crazy. Even though it's not real. It's not real. Oh, no, it's not real. Overwatch isn't real. But, like, right now, my rank is... I haven't actually checked in a while, but I think it's, like, Diamond 3 right now. And it has been a struggle to keep that. Let me tell you, Overwatch ranking has gone through many changes over its lifespan. Obviously, with them changing almost everything else about the game, you would think that they would, touch up, try to, mess with the match, the competitive. But the way that they went about it sometimes has been... not so good. I think it's at a pretty decent place right now. I think they've found their footing. I think it's because a lot of, like, there's a lot more developers on the team now, and it was kind of like, in the start of Overwatch 2, and especially in the middle of Overwatch 2, it was a pretty bare bones, like, studio that was doing all of the balancing and shit. But now Blizzard is a lot better now. There's a lot less controversies about Blizzard. They have more money, and yeah, they're not so worried about the marketing of the game now, and more about actually fixing the game. But in Overwatch 1, it followed the same symbol. It would go from bronze to silver to gold to platinum to diamond to masters, grandmasters, and then grandmasters 1 is the final rank, and then if you're above that, it's top 500, which just means that, yeah, your highest rank of your game pool, top 500 of it, which I actually had, like, one friend who was top 500 a couple of times, which was pretty cool. They taught me some stuff on the Overwatch. They were like a mentor to me a little bit. But oh my god, I'm farting. Yeah, it used that rank system, and then that's still how the basis of the, like, displayed ranks is, but the actual system of how you got these ranks has changed, such as it used to have a thing called SR, or skill ranking, and pretty much what this is after playing a couple of games, you would gain SR, and this SR, you have to get a certain amount of SR to reach the next point, and if you would win a game, you would gain SR. If you lose the game, you would lose SR. It was that simple. That's all they had. But towards Overwatch 2, they realized, hey, this doesn't really work with how our game works, because there's, plenty of games. Like, there's plenty of games I've played where it's a very close match, but it shouldn't be the exact same punishment as me being hard pushed and just bulldozed, right? Like, they shouldn't have the same rating. So they tried this thing where you had these, like, cards, and you had to play 3 times, and I don't really know how it worked at all. All I knew is that I never got a rank because I never played competitive that much back then, and what I've heard of it is that it was super hard to even get a rank because there was this, like, placement thing that you would be stuck in, which would pretty much be a hell. Luckily they got rid of that, and now they have the new system, which there's sometimes where it freaks out and it's weird, but most of the time it's pretty good. It has different multipliers of your score. It has no SR anymore. It works of a thing of you play 10 matches of these placement matches that put you in they have estimated ranks, so it's like what you play with that rank too, but it's just you're estimated to be that, and that's based off of either old like past seasons, or you start off fresh at bronze 5, sorry. Oh no. So I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart right now. The things that it would after you did your placement matches, you would get your rank, and then, like, a progress bar you would have, and pretty much winning games would make this progress bar go up, and losing games would make this goes up. But like I said, there was modifiers that would happen. Like, let's say you won multiple games in a row. Then you would get this thing called a winning trend, which would add to your plus multiplier. But let's say it was a downhill battle where you lost extremely. Then it would have a multiplier on the negative. Now, what I've heard is that when you get into higher ranks, it can start acting weird, where it'll say, uphill battle, you get, like, a bunch of, like, really good multipliers that mean that you've tried your hardest, and then it moves, like, a single percent. It's so weird. Because, like, apparently the negative and the positives can, like, cancel each other out, so where you win a game, and then you just don't move. I still think this is probably the best it's been. And now they have a thing of hero SR, where the actual hero that you play has a certain SR, so it's like, there's more, like, leaderboards for top 500s of specific heroes, which I think is cool. And I want to become top 500 of a junkrat. I just need to play, like, so much more comp than I do. I still play, I mean, I do play a good amount of comp, but still, I play a lot of quick play just because it's easy, and it's fast, they're fast games, but there's a thing I don't like about quick play is that you don't have your full skill potential. It's like, the way that, let's just take a payload map, for example. In competitive, a payload map, escorting it, there is points where if one team gets all the way to the end, then the other team has to match that. And if they match it, then with the time that they had left when they got to the end, they would both have to pretty much, on either defend or attack, get the payload to a certain point before the end, and then the other person would have to match it. And that's pretty much how it goes until the other person gets to the point. I think it allows for skill. I like how it's on both sides, so you're not just playing, you have to actually think about your characters on defend or attack, which, yes, it does actually matter. Characters matter depending on what maps you're playing them, what characters you're playing with them, what characters you're playing against with, and also what side you're on. I mean, there's a one called Shambhali Monastery. It's an amazing map for Junkrat on defense because it's a lot of downward slopes. But oppositely, on attack, it's a lot harder for Junkrat because you have to, shoot up. And if you look at a triangle, it's math crazy. I'm talking about math when Overwatch, even though I hate math. It's a lot easier to hit something when you're higher up because you have more view than the other person. You have more opportunities to hit them than a person does when they're on lower ground than you. That's why the entire thing of a uphill battle is. It's an advantage. And that's what Overwatch is really about at its core, is advantages and disadvantages. That's how, Pro Series, that's how the Pro Series works. I mean, if it was a game of just pure skill, it would be very boring. And if it was just, all DPS, but no, there's characters work in these certain ways so that you strategize, and that's so it's more of, working as a unit to do something compared to doing it by yourself. And that's kind of the difference. I'm about to get into the difference, like how people like to talk about what's, Overwatch is just Marvel Rivals is just Overwatch, But I think just because they're hero shooters does not mean they're the same. I mean, I feel like Overwatch 2 is a very, very, what's it? Blue Moon? It's a blue moon of the, hero shooters. And that's why it's so popular, and it's why it's been so popular around, and kind of like created competitive esports to be so, normalized today, is because of Overwatch. And that's because characters by themselves cannot do that much in Overwatch. No, even a tank. If a tank is against 2 supports with full cooldowns, that tank, even with the high health pool, even with all these moves that, are crowd sweeping AoE moves, they can still die, because that's the point, is that against a 2v1, most of the time, no matter what character you're playing, you are gonna die unless you have an advantage. Games like TF2 and games like Marvel Rival are less than this. TF2 especially is less than this. TF2, the characters themselves are meant to be separate. They're meant to be things that they have their own localized kits that they can play well against solely and duel. And it works really well for that game, having very open spaces for people to brawl in, to, in many corridors and buildings and stuff to hide in. I think it's really cool. And that's why I think it's just not a good comparison. And Marvel Rivals is just the same. It's also easier than Overwatch. I don't even mean that as a dig on Marvel Rivals. I mean that as, like, seriously playing the game, it's easier than Overwatch. There's more, and, I was talking about how this game is a game of resources. Hero shooters kind of follow that same thing, too, for a lot of them. Not TF2, but, Marvel Rivals definitely is a lot more akin to Overwatch in that term. But still, with the ability bloat, each character in Marvel Rivals having, like, 5 abilities and then no fall-off range, so you don't have to worry about, oh, my character can only attack this far, like you do in Overwatch. I mean, you're playing any hit scan, you have to worry about if they don't have an infinite, damage range, you have to know your damage fall off and kind of estimate it and think about that. And that kind of, it makes the Overwatch characters have more personality, because, again, this goes into, with the characterization of Overwatch, it helps them have a certain style that mixes with their character in terms of gameplay. While Marvel Rivals just kind of feels like players with kits with Marvel characters on it, especially with the voices. They're not as, immersive. They're a lot less immersive than Overwatch to make them feel like real people. And if you like an easier game, it's fine. But this ain't your granny station, okay? We're playing Overwatch 2. And Overwatch 2 is a big boy game, right? That inquires thought, that inquires critical thinking skills, that inquires strategy. And a lot of people don't think that and want to play Orisa and hold W into the team. That doesn't work. That doesn't flippin' work. Overwatch has always kind of walked on this tightrope between being a casual game and being a competitive game. It's supposed to appeal to everybody. You can pick up the game no matter what. It's just based off of either the characters you play or just based off of the game themselves that they actually try to make. I mean, there's characters like Soldier that is supposed to be a direct link between Call of Duty and it. They literally have a sprint, they have a rocket, they have a heal. It's everything, and they even give him a stim pack in the recent things. They really wanted it to be the bridge between regular FPS and team shooters. On tank, there's Ryan, which I play, and Ryan is he's supposed to be a beginner tank because you can get a lot of value by just existing and being this menacing threat that can pin you and, fire strike you at any second. It's really cool. And also, his ultimate is good and reliable, and it doesn't suck, like Riptire. Jesus Christ, Riptire is such a bad ultimate. I'm gonna get into talking about how bad Junkrat is compared to other characters in a little bit, but, and then for support, there is, who's the beginner support? Hold up. Trying to remember. Yeah, I think it was Lucio. I think Lucio was supposed to be, like, the beginner support that anybody could pick up, just because his healing's pretty easy. I mean, he has a very easy skill floor. These are all characters with super low skill floors, which just means how easy it is to pick up the character, and very high skill ceilings, which is, how long does it take to master this character and be able to use its fundamental mechanics at higher levels. And now I'm going to go over to Junkrat. Junkrat. Junkrat, I started playing Junkrat before I knew that he was one of the worst characters in the game. I really didn't know that. I just liked him, and I played him a lot, and in lower ranks, every character is viable. I would say until, Plat. I would say until Plat, most you can play all characters. Obviously, you're gonna have a little bit of trouble. You're obviously gonna have disadvantages, but it's like people don't know how to full counter you, and you can actually one trick without being specifically good at that hero. But then I started watching a lot of Junkrat guides, and I started, just looking at general Junkrat, gameplay and tips, and they say, yeah, Junkrat is difficult to play in higher role, and I get it now. I've been stuck in Elo Hell, which is pretty much where you're in a rank for a long period of time, and you win a game, you lose a game, you win a game, you lose a game, and it's just like this constant cycle of being in one rank, because anytime you rank up, you immediately rank down because somebody, you get to the next rank and people know how to fight you, and it's like, it's just, you gotta get good with that character. Things that make him bad. Number one, his abilities, they're not reliable, and you have to use them to get in. His mines. He only has 2 mines that he can use, and they allow him to propel other people, and they allow him to propel himself. Now, this is a great damage tool to finish off people you can't hit with your regular. This is a great zoning tool to throw it and disperse enemies and kind of group, it's great for other characters like Genji who have a deflect. You can just throw it above him and explode it, and yeah, it's really great. It has a wide enough blast radius that you can throw it as somebody is running away from you and turning a corner, and if you just think about it and predict it at the right time, you can explode it. And I've gotten a lot better at this over the years. His next thing is a trap. See, trap is really good, right? I really like trap. I mean, it's a thing that can consistently get you kills when you're dead. The only thing is that in higher ranks, if there is a Junkrat, people are gonna try to look for that trap. And also, I really sometimes hate that they change how the trap looks depending on different different skins, because there's these lifeguard skins that he has, and they make the trap blue and orange. Hey guys, might as well put a traffic cone. Oh, wait, he has a skin called Caution that is literally traffic colors, and it's these orange and yellows. I'm being serious. Why would you think that's a good idea for his trap? I never use that skin just because of that. It's like, I have to hide him. But most of the time, you're not putting it in the the person's view. You're putting it to the side of a corridor that you're shooting in. Yeah. And then let's talk about his primary fire. His primary fire fires at a lob. It's not like any other gun in the game. It shoots up for some reason. So it curves, which makes it really good sometimes because you can shoot and not even show your hitbox. But also, it sucks if you try to fight close up because you have to predict where the person's gonna go. And that's why those mines come in really handy, is because you're shooting somebody, you can maybe get one direct off, and then that's it. But the thing is, the strength of it is that the bombs ricochet. So if you're in a corridor, that's why they say there's a tip that says never fight a junkrat indoors. And that is true, because anytime there is walls, he can shoot, and even if he misses, it has a chance to bounce off that wall and hit you. It's awesome. I love it, and it makes spamming perfectly viable on junkrat. Now, I am not a spammy junkrat. There are junkrats that are like, oh, the character's easy. And then what they do is that they try to, pump down a major, pathway. And yeah, in bronze and silver and gold, that might work. You can, shoot a couple, and yeah, people will walk into a straight line and just take every bomb like it's a drive-through. But you're going to have flankers that are going to try to get you. You have to get good at 1v1ing. Junkrat is called junkrat for a reason. The entire point of him is to find these off angles, these ratty off angles, and just shoot from them. The whole point of his trap to use is to defend himself when he has these angles. Now, this only works in some maps that allow these off angles, but that's what I normally try to do, is find these sneaky little off angles. And because a proxy of this is you are going to be away from healers. So you better know where health back spots are, because that's mostly the healing you're going to get. Or two, be very self-reliant on yourself. And that's the thing, is that that's the one part I'm not really that good at, is being self-reliant. But I mean, I've gotten pretty good at 1v1ing different DPSs and different stuff. And there's some tanks that make it super easy, like Reinhardt. I recently fought a Junkrat as a Reinhardt, and I've never been on that side of it. It's so painful, because you're trying to hold up your shield, and they can just throw it above you and just explode your guts, and then you get trapped, and then it makes you drop your shield. You can't hold your shield up when you are trapped. It's so dumb. But yeah, Junkrat's for a lot of skill, guys. Some of the best Junkrat players ever are... There is a person on OWCS, which is like the pro leagues, on a team called Oh Yeah, named Kaya, and they are really good at Junkrat. I've never seen Junkrat be played in pro before, besides them. Vulture, that's one I always watch. So I kind of sit them, like, and I go to sleep with them, It's just, I go to sleep with them? No, I go to sleep with them on. Yeah. And then, Susie, I don't really know that much about their gameplay, but they know where these, Junkrat spots are. There's different spots on the map where you can just, be, constantly falling, but, be, stuck. Like on a rooftop or something, where something stops you from falling off completely. So you can just use that and just, airstrike people. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to talk about one more thing in his kit. The dirty Riptire. Riptire is a really bad ultimate. I find it being broken majority of the time. You have to take crazy detours for it to not do that. Your for 10 seconds you are completely by yourself and can get easily destroyed because flankers, and you scream fire in the hole where everybody can triangulate where you are and find you. That's why most junkrats, I like to wait 3 seconds around my body just to make sure, especially if there's a easy flanker that can just come and take me. So, and then I'll wait, and then I'll go off. And there's only 10 seconds on the timer, so you gotta be, pretty fast about it. They added this perk called Nitro Tire, which allows you to have, like, a big boost to your tire, but it reduces the damage by half, and then, yeah. I don't really pick that perk, because there's so many better perks, but yeah. Closing speech. Alright, I don't know. So I've been playing Overwatch since 2018, consistently since 2018. And it's changed definitely a lot. Some people like the changes, some people don't. I am kind of in the middle about it. There's some things I miss, and then some things I definitely don't. And, nobody can ever be completely satisfied with a live service game. It's not possible, because people's biases will just get in the way of everything. If these people really tried to balance this game, they would have no idea how to. They would destroy it, because they would just buff the characters they like and nerf the characters they don't. And then it would be in an even worse state than it is now. People think that they know what is good for the game. They don't see the game as a whole. They see it through this really wide angle. And I feel like that's kind of with everything, even with politics. You think of it, people, if you come at something with one angle and one view and only try to use one view, it gets stale, there's no new opinions going through. It's horrible. But having diverse thought and having different statistics to figure it out, that's what I love about Overwatch, is that it's a mixture of everything. It's a mixture of looking at statistics of what characters pick, what characters win, what characters lose, what characters are played for how long, how are these characters viewed in the community, because the community does matter, especially the content creators. They have genuine say on, I watch this guy, his name is Spylo. He does Overwatch content, and he is one of my favorite Overwatch YouTubers, other than Vulture, just because he is so unopinionated about things. He has some opinion, but he never outright calls a character bad. He never says these blanketed statements that just don't work. He speaks like a, but here's the thing, it's not like there's another content creator called CarQ that I like less. I still watch him, but I watch him less because CarQ kind of sounds like a Overwatch PR team rep, where anytime people give criticisms about the game, he tries to find ways to dampen that criticism. Spylo's yeah, Mercy is in a bad place for you right now, and also Mercy is. Sorry, I'm having a hard time thinking, but it's Mercy is a consistently flawed character. Why is this? And he gives really good advice, and it's I don't know, he's a cool dude. I've watched all of his junkrat tutorials, just because I think I've watched every single junkrat how-to in the world. And I don't think I actually pick up anything from them. Seriously. I mean, some things maybe, but it's mostly what you watch and how you play, and like the more you play, because like definitely I've noticed that my play style is reminiscent of Vulture in terms of the walking in a random place and then just blowing people up. That's what I love to do. I love to get really close to people and then just blow them up. It's awesome. Yeah, as I was saying, I mean, you know, a live service game is super difficult to balance, and I think they have done a pretty good job so far. I still think I mean, the marketing issues, some characters dominating metas for too long, I actually really don't mind having characters dominate metas for a little bit, because there's at least always one team that goes, hey, we're not gonna do this. I don't know if I've already talked about this, but I might have literally just said something I've said in a previous recording, but yeah. I don't know, like, for example, Hazard Wrecking Ball. Hazard was dominant in the meta as soon as he came out for being a very good brawl character. He can just go really close to you, and it's really hard to cut the distance with him and stuff like that. And like, his walls is really good for a zoning tool. He's a very good tank to brawl, and he does the brawl purpose better than most tanks do. But how do you get rid of a character with a lot of brawl potential? A lot of mobility. So Ball became a very good counter against it in the Asian meta. It's crazy. Anyway, yeah, I like Overwatch. I think it's a pretty cool game. Yeah, I think mythic skins were a bad idea. Sorry, I'm filling for time here, but I think mythic skins were a bad idea. It's just like they planned. This was a Overwatch 2 idea that was planned in like the early stages, and it was having each character have an inspect animation where you could click a button and they would look at their gun and do something with their gun. But then they were like, how about we don't do that? How about we give it to only some characters? So now there's mythic skins and mythic guns, and I've obviously shown you them, but mythic skins have sort of, they have different voice lines, and they have a different animation for you when you pick them, and stuff like that, and they're all kind of, the season is based around the mythic skin sometimes, and, it's like, it kind of has a certain vibe to it, like, they had a fantasy theme one, and, Tracer got a, like, elf skin. There was, the Mirror Watch, I told you. Mercy got a skin called Vengeance Mercy, which is her if she joined Talon instead of Overwatch. Evil Mercy, if you will. Even though Mercy's already evil. She's evil, I'm telling you. Don't trust those German eyes. But, sorry, you're probably sleeping right now. Yeah. I really like... Damn, why am I blanking so hard right now? Sorry. Cool game. Best hero shooter I've ever played. 10 out of 10. Would not recommend. because I don't want to play with new people. I've been playing with Terrell, and man, is he so bad at Overwatch. He's so bad at okay, like, I get it, he's new, but come on. After the 20th so death, you should know that standing, in the front line as a support is probably not the best idea, especially when you're a support that can get easily doved. Doved? Doved? Doved. Dove? Is it doved or dove? I think it's dove. You'll probably correct me later. 'Cause that's what you do. You go, actually it's... yeah. Anyway, and, I hope you like this. I don't know. It's been nice to just, talk about Overwatch. I'd totally do this again and just talk majority about Junkrat, because I know most of this is probably gonna be Junkrat, but, and, yeah, you are definitely right. This was so much easier to do than I thought. It's just I talk about Overwatch and just time flies. Yeah, so I love you, and happy anniversary. This I'm supposed to send this to you as a present. Yeah. Loop end.